Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is David, this is David K Reacts, and here on this channel I ramble with articulation, I hope, about a variety of musical, audio and visual elements of the videos that I watch. And today we are coming back to a band I checked out for the first time, this time last year, for Halloween, and that is Broken Peach. Last year I checked out their cover of Tainted Love. There will be a card up here to go to that reaction if you would like to check it out. This is a Spanish band, very talented, really great performance work, but also amazing aesthetic as well. Their video for Tainted Love was extraordinary, and based on the thumbnail alone of this video, I think this is going to be just as amazing. And this is them singing Blondie's One Way or Another. This is a song I was having a look at, because they have several Halloween videos, and I was trying to figure out which one to check. And I don't know why, this song has been in my head. It was the very first song I ever heard on the Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind ride at Disney World. And I don't know if it's just because I associate it with that being an amazing experience or what, but it's been stuck in my head for ages. This was over a year, maybe 2 years ago now that happened. I can't remember exactly. And every now and then it just pops into my head. So I saw this and I was like, you know what? Let's see what someone else does with it. Yes, I know One Direction has covered it. I actually haven't ever heard that version. But the Blondie version I know very well. It's a fantastic piece of music. In my personal opinion, did not get the recognition it deserved. It charted at number 24 in the US, number 7 in Canada. And, you know, didn't sort of get as highly sort of credited as I think it should have been, personally. That's just my take. You know, just feel about it as you will. I do know the One Direction version charted all over the place. The Blondie version, I believe, is even only certified, according to Wikipedia, in 2 countries. It's gold in Spain and platinum in the UK. And that just really surprised me, because I kind of thought it would just have done better than that, because it's a song I know so well. And I guess it's one of those things where if I know it, I assume everybody else knows it, especially because, you know, I often don't know sort of less popular songs because my musical taste is all over the place. But who's to say? Anyway, yeah, I don't know much more about the song than that. I didn't really dig into it in this particular case. I just thought it would be a really fun one to look at. And as I say, Broken Peach's aesthetic is outrageously cool. And I'm really excited to see what they do this. This was their Halloween song last year. I can't remember if I think I had recorded before this was released, which is why I didn't do it immediately on its release last year. I assume one is probably going to come out right around the time this video comes out. In which case I'll have missed it. But I'm looking forward to seeing what that is too. But this is going to be a lot of fun. So I don't have much more to say than that, so I will simply say welcome back to my channel. Welcome if this is your first time here. If it is, the way I work, I'm going to watch this video through from beginning to end, commenting and emoting over the top, and I will then go back and watch it a second time, this time pausing, interrupting, offering what commentary and analysis I feel I can, based on what I've just seen and heard, and the foreknowledge of having seen it the one time before, which just helps me to put some contextual clues into place. Please do like the video, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and if you would care to support the channel, you can do so by heading to buymeacoffee.com/DavidKReacts, to patreon.com/DavidKReacts, or by leaving a super thanks here on YouTube, and any of those would be very gratefully appreciated if you choose to do them. The one other thing I'll just mention, if you happen to have popped in around this time last year and you're not a regular viewer, one, please come back. Two, I'm not doing a theme month this month. When I say theme month, I am doing all Halloween songs, but last year I did 2 songs a week. I simply don't have the broadband, or the bandwidth rather, to do that right now. It's a very crazy month for me at the moment, so this is just a regular 1 video a month, with the possible exception of the fact that I am hitting my channel anniversary next week as I record this. There will be something special for that. But yeah, that's about it. So without any further delay, let's see what Broken Peach does with One Way or Another. Oh. Why are you muted? Try that again. Okay. I enjoy this as an entertaining start. Yes. Already, I just love this performance. The energy they all give is phenomenal.
One way or another, I'm gonna fire. I'm gonna get you one way or another. I'm gonna win ya. I'm gonna get you one way or another. I'm gonna see
Nice
ya.
harmony introduction.
I'm gonna meet you one day, maybe next week. I'm gonna meet ya. I'm gonna meet ya. I will drive past your house, and if the lights are all down, I see us around.
They're somehow very good at having a huge amount of movement and it not being distracting.
I'm gonna fire. I'm gonna meet you one way or another. I'm gonna win ya. I get ya. One way or another. I'm gonna see ya. I'm gonna meet you one day. Maybe next week. I'm gonna meet ya. I meet ya. And if the lights are all out, I'll follow your
I love the fact that they're so good also at being in unison with their movement or their singing, and also doing their own thing.
One way or another, I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna meet you. I'm gonna get you. It's gonna be daylight. I'm gonna get you till the sunrise. I'm gonna get you till the moonlight. I'm gonna get you till the sunrise. It's gonna be daylight. One way or another, I'm gonna lose you. I'm gonna give you the slip. I slip on the hair or another. I'm gonna lose you. I'm gonna trick ya.
The pom-poms as well, yes. Erica's energy is off the charts. Yes! Love the drop. Yes! They're so much fun. I think that's what I get out of this, is they take a song, they cover it really well. They don't necessarily go particularly left field in terms of how they cover it, but that's fine because the fidelity of their work, the consistency, and the high quality is phenomenal. On top of that, their movement is crazy. And it's, like I said in the middle of that, somehow, for me at least, it's not particularly distracting. I think because it is such high energy from the very beginning, especially in a song like this where you have some instrumental before it starts, you have time to get used to the movement. But I'm really, really impressed with everything that they do. The production value is really high in terms of the costume work. They have really, really nice lighting. We'll talk about all of this as we go through it. But that's absolutely fantastic. I'm going to take 30 seconds. I will be right back. I just want to know what Deputación Ourense is, and I will be right back. Very cool. So that is a provincial council in Spain. So they're obviously getting support from civil sources, which is great. Love it. Cultural export. This is something I'd never thought about until recently. My wife started looking at some international touring grants and things like that, and we got in touch with the Department of Canadian Heritage. And one thing that never occurred to me is that Canadian Heritage does trade missions because art is a commodity that can be traded. It is an international export. And I never really thought, it's a very businessy way to think about it, and I like keeping my mind on the more creative side of things, but it's a valid point. It is something that a country can give to another country in the form of a performance, a recording, whatever it happens to be. But I never really thought about it like that. And since then, it's always interesting to me at the end of a film or at the end of something like this to take note of those sort of bureaucratical entities that support artistry, because that is so important. And I like seeing that at the end of a video. That's really cool. So good for them. Okay, let's go back on this awesomeness and watch it again and see what we can pull out. And I'm going to start right here, actually, because this, even as a starting point, there were two reasons I really settled on this song, I think. One was, as I said, the song's been in my mind recently. And I was excited to check it out. Two is the thumbnail just looked cool. And this is why you get this awesome setup, you know, skeleton cheerleaders on a basketball court. Sure, why not? I love it. It's great. I think this is, it's a great presentation. They are very, very good with a single frame of one of their videos, at least of the two I've seen so far, and the thumbnails I've seen on their YouTube channel, at making an impression straight away with the visuals that they use. And I think that's really, really interesting. It's given them an identity, I think, that really helps them to stand out, and I'm excited about that. So yeah, I absolutely love this idea. Skeleton cheerleaders. Not only that, we get the cheer at the end of the song, which kind of really just adds to their world building, essentially, which is what I do for a living. For those who don't know, I work in video games with narrative and world building and lore, and that's essentially what they're doing. They're not only giving themselves a visual identity, but they are wrapping that into their song, and that's fantastic. So yeah, let's start again and see what we can see. Oops. I mean, such a simple thing. You have the Hammond organ, you have the lights ballyhooing, which is what it's called when they're kind of like waving around the stage. It's kind of, it gives you time to settle and look at their aesthetic, to take it in. They're not just doing it with their first frame, they're doing it with their entire presentation, and that's exciting. I think it gives a lot of scope for absorbing what you're looking at so that you can just accept it. This is how it's being presented, and then enjoy it in context rather than trying to take everything in at once, which can be a lot. I also love the amount of white that they have that's really kind of highlighting when this light passes over them. You know, it's kind of overexposed for a little bit, but it's nice because it gives you some visual distinction and contrast between the people who are currently in dark and the people who are currently in light. Incidentally, I mentioned Erica by name a little while ago. That's because she was pointed out to me extensively in the comments to my video to Tainted Love. I believe I know her name, and I believe if they're in the same order, which I think they might be, going on hair color. Lara, on the left side of the screen right now, is the founder of the band. I apologize. I have a limited recording window, which is why I'm not doing a sort of double video theme month this month, and I have not had the chance to sit down and learn everybody's name, which I usually would do by the second time I react to a band. I will do that for the next time. I feel badly about the fact that I didn't do that because it's something I like to be a bit more aware the second time around. So I will be referring to people mostly either by hair color or instrument. So yes, my apologies for that. There's also a lovely moment where the lights just stop there for the da-da-da-da-da, and it's a nice touch. It's almost the visual equivalent of that music break we get when they're chanting B-R-O-K-E-N at the end there. It's a really nice moment because it gives us a sense of stillness, and it's kind of, for want of a better phrase, the calm before the storm. Like there's something big coming, but there's just a moment's break before it does, and it's that little breath, because it's quite a busy opening given that nothing is happening, and that little breath is just a lovely lead-in to what then follows, and I really, really like that. And then we come in with the hard hit from both guitar and bass and the drum kit, just kind of immediately punches us into gear. Some really cool stuff right off the intro. Firstly, I love the choreography. I love the fact that it is in a delayed unison, so they're all doing the same thing, but two do it immediately, two do it a moment later. That's really cool. I think that the way that you sort of utilized cheer to my eye. Now, full disclosure, UK has cheerleading, but it's not really that big of a thing compared to North America, and so I have limited exposure to that world. But there are things that seem like they could very realistically be kind of cheer positions or sort of motions that they hit at points, and I like that they're incorporating that into what they're doing here. I also love this. I don't know if it's a theremin or if it's a synthesizer or something that's doing this kind of wow sound in the background, but listening to this bass line is really interesting. Bass line, theremin line, whatever you want to call it. So it's da 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 da. It's just climbing down a major scale, but the little the little slides down as it goes. That was way over pitch, but the little slides down as it goes are really interesting because they imply notes on the way. That one specifically, da da, you could go da da as the next notes, and we kind of slide through that da 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 da. That little slide over there, really, really interesting because it implies a momentary harmony that isn't technically in the song, except you do hear it for a heartbeat, and then again. A little bit less on that one. It's a little bit more direct. Da-da, little bit more direct. But that one that passes through the minor seventh on the way to the major sixth is a really interesting move. And I like what that does to the implication of the harmony of the song. It gives it a little bit more meat than is immediately there, simply through a passing note, which is... Passing notes used effectively can be really cool, and they can do things far beyond simply transitioning to the next chord, and I think that's a good example of it. And again, we have with those octave jumps, like shifting up through, giving us that range of motion. And of course, that's such a Halloween sound, isn't it, the theremin? I think it is an extremely Halloween-y instrument. And it works really, really well in this. It's kind of turned what is a fairly themeless rock intro. And I don't mean that as a criticism. I'm just saying this isn't a Halloween song. But it's kind of made it so by adding something. It's like adding bells, silver bells, into a song that has that kind of upbeat vibe. Kind of immediately gives it a slightly Christmas feel because of the associations with it. That's kind of what the theremin's doing here, and I am so here for it. And here we get what they do so well, and they did so well in Tainted Love, where they're all doing their own thing. Here's me looking. So my screens are quite big, and I sit quite close to them. I just looked to the left and saw this pose going on down here. That's great. This is my point. They're all doing their own thing. We have a reaction here, even. Again, my apologies for not knowing everybody's names, but... The performer with the red hair here looks like, whether it's deliberate or not, appears to be responding to this very unusual pose that we have going on here. But they interact, and this feels cohesive, even though they are not doing unison choreography. They are all doing their own thing. And I love that they give this individuality. I think it really brings a life to these performances that might not be there if they were doing... There'd be a different aesthetic if everything they were doing was in sync. Because it's not. It gives the aesthetic that we get here, which is chaotic, but somehow remarkably pulled together. I love the fist bump before Erica and whatever her name is on her right, or our left, start going into this sync dance. There's just a fist bump of, here we go, let's go. Cute touch. Again, small moments of interaction. Doesn't have to happen the whole way through the song, but it connects everybody in a really cool way.
One way or another, I'm gonna fire. I'm gonna get you, one.
And here what's happening is really, really cool. One, I love the fact that we have the two singing in unison. You get a nice full sound from them, which is really nice. It's quite punchy. Really, really good vocal quality that we've got coming through here. I love the fact that they are doing very similar things, but not quite the same. You can see it in this pose right here, where it really stood out to me.
One way or another.
Like right here. This hand position versus this hand position. Slight differences. Small ones, but like the leg. One leg popped for one person, both legs straight for the other. The elbows being tighter into the body or further out. The arms being more bent or less. There is nothing here that says we are trying to create symmetry across the board. And yet, doesn't it kind of feel like they have somehow? I love it. It's great. And then in the middle of that, you have this synchronized dancing happening in the middle that's kind of counterplaying against that. And I think that's a really cool idea.
I'm gonna fire. I'm gonna get you, one way or another. I'm gonna win ya. I'm gonna get you, one way.
And then we have this moment where we've finished the first half of the verse. The second half hits, we bring in harmony. We now have all four singers performing. It's great. It's a really, really nice sound. I really, really like what they've done. It gives us a nice build through the verse because now we have more voices. We have a thicker vocal sound going on, and the band doesn't need to do much. They could just keep going with what they're doing, and the arrangement as a whole is picking up steam.
I'm gonna win ya. I'm gonna get you, one way or another. I'm gonna see ya. I'm gonna meet you, one.
Yeah, I think the only difference is we've added the open hi-hat, so we've got this going on in the background. I think that's the only difference instrumentally to this, and yet the whole arrangement feels like it's picked up speed. This is so good.
I'm gonna win ya. I'm gonna get you, one way or another. I'm gonna see ya. I'm gonna meet you, one day. Maybe next week. I'm gonna meet ya. I'm gonna meet ya.
It's so ballistic, the motions that they're making. It's not a gentle move. It's a hit. It's a hit. They strike poses really, really quickly, and it keeps everything that we're seeing so dynamic. That's, I think, what really impresses me with it. This is a rock song. This is something you rock out to. And even though they are glued to the ground in front of microphones, they're not able to just kind of, bounce all over the place, and I'm going over this way for a bit, and now I'm coming back again. That's not happening. But there is still plenty of motion. And that's really, really cool. The level that they're engaging with is so good. I also really enjoy, actually, I want to talk about this for a second, the movement coming from the gentlemen in the group. They are all behind, they are playing their instruments, and they are not overblowing it. It would be very easy to get caught up in what's going on here and to overperform and draw attention away. They don't need to do that. Right? And I think that the balance that they strike is really... I remember commenting, I think, on this last year. The balance they strike is really impressive.
Maybe next week. I'm gonna meet ya. I'm gonna meet ya. I will drive past your house.
The simplicity of that shift. We've gone into longer notes. I will drive. It's much, much longer than this. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 which is much, much more abrupt, much more staccato. And what do? We go into all four of them, slow movements, slow kind of bobbing. Everything's a little bit more held back. And it counterpoint, or it doesn't counterpoint, it complements the music change so very well at that point.
I will drive past your house. And if the lights are all down, I see us around.
And then that lovely moment, you get da 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 da, and as we rise into that note, they split out into the four doing their own thing again. The timing of the choreography in this is superb. Somebody who knows more about the group than I do or the group yourselves, if you happen, you were very kind enough to comment on my Tainted Love reaction. What's the choreography process here? Is this, obviously there is choreography going on. Is there a choreographer? Is it one of you? This may be in the, you know what, that's going to remind me, I didn't check out the description for any information, so let's go and have a look at that right now. Is there anything down here that tells me, no, there isn't. So, that, the one thing, a video recorded at Pazo dos Deportes Paco Paz in Ourense, in Galicia, Spain. So there we go, this was actually recorded there, and they've just provided a small amount of information. A song by an American new wave band Blondie from their 78 album Parallel Lines. Song's music was composed by bassist Nigel Harrison, who introduced the Ventures-influenced track to keyboardist Jimmy Destry. One way or another released as the fourth North American single from Parallel Lines, following the band's chart-topping Heart of Glass single. Yes, correct. That may have also contributed a little bit, like Heart of Glass. I don't know, like it fascinates me that Heart of Glass did so well and then this didn't have that woof kind of behind it of the power of, but maybe it just wasn't as popular. I'm not sure. I don't know Heart of Glass as well. I know one way or another significantly better. Question mark. Anyway, that doesn't answer who the choreographer is. Please do let me know, because I love the work that they do. The timing is so hot on this, and the fact that it's such a good blend of doing your own thing and doing the same thing as everybody else is really, really neat. There's a couple of... this is a great screenshot for this, actually. If we look at everybody's faces. 1, facial expressions in this band are fantastic. They're really, really good at emoting. 2, Erica is so hard not to watch. Erica's charisma and energy are off the charts, and it's just... I feel so drawn in to watch her performance all the time. Everybody does a wonderful job. There's just something about her energy that hits really, really hard. 3, this makeup is so good. Because look at, for example, Erica, actually, case in point. The way that the makeup is formed on her face makes... I'm pretty sure... I get the impression she can open her mouth quite wide. But it looks like it's even more open than that because of the way the lines are forming on the face. It's making it look so enhanced and exaggerated. And I really love what they can do with that. Let's look at the guitarist for a moment on the right-hand side of the screen. We have this wonderful motion of the eye makeup around so that we've got this exaggerated sort of look going on. And I really, really like what this makeup is able to do. It's enhancing all of their features in a really, really interesting way. It blends because you have the sort of jumpsuit of the skeleton underneath the cheerleader outfit. The makeup blends perfectly in with that, so we have this lovely cohesion. I also adore the bows in the hair. I can't quite see the detail on them enough. It's just polka dots, or if there's like skulls or something. But I adore that. I think the way that this whole look has been pulled together through makeup and costume is brilliant, but the makeup just particularly impresses me because of how much it does with the face. And this is a band that does face really well. So that's just absolute kudos on that. Oops. And this I like so much. We now come back into this logic of having 2 singers singing in unison, but what do? We've switched them. Now it's the 2 internal singers, and the 2 external singers are doing the dance routine. It gives everyone their moment to shine. It gives a nice sort of continuation and evolution of what we had beforehand, so it keeps things interesting. We're watching something different. If your tendency is to watch straight forward into the center of the band, which I think, the eye is naturally drawn towards movement or towards the center of a screen, you're going to see something different in each verse. I really like the way that this has been constructed. Great stuff. I can't remember if this happened last time, but I'm also noticing we're getting low octaves from the bass now, which I think is an evolution from previously, as well as that hi-hat coming in. But again, this great thing of we bring the harmony in, everybody starts singing together. It's just the way that this arrangement has been constructed is really, really impressive to me, because it keeps the ear guessing, while at the same time telling you we're leading, you know where we're leading. We did this before, but it's not the same. That's really, really smart arrangement work. One thing I just caught this and feel like I should comment on it because it's really cool. The UV light that they have used, I assume that's what they've used, to light the basketball court behind them is really effective because you get this great white outline, or blue outline, of everything that is white behind them. What an interesting way of highlighting a basketball court. We see it as lines and, varnished wood and the the net and the backboard and the seats, and we're not seeing most of that. And yet what we are seeing categorically tells us this is a basketball court. If you actually made the seats and like the area around them black and just had the entryways and the backboard and the basket lit up, you'd recognize where we are. Really, really smart bit of production design there.
I'm gonna see ya. I'm gonna meet ya, meet ya, meet ya, meet ya one day. Maybe next week. I'm gonna meet ya. I meet ya, I meet ya. And if the lights are all out, I'll follow your cross downtown.
Notice what we've got happening here. We've brought back that choreography again. So we have the consistency there as well of, as the whole way through the verse, the two who were doing the dancing in the verse, and now the choreography over the chorus, the same, or the pre-chorus rather, the same both times. So again, consistency going through the arrangement, even though it's all individual each time.
Follow your cross downtown. See who's hanging out. One way or another, I'm gonna find you.
One thing I do like is we're getting a couple of points here where we're getting, so for example, the left side of the screen right now, the two ladies have dropped right down, and now the bassist is standing above them, and it's almost like it gives them a split second in the limelight. And I like the fact that this happens. The attention is drawn at various points to every single person in the group. So, even though, to my eye at least, I'm finding Erica draws my attention a lot because of how energetic and big she is, that doesn't necessarily mean that I am not seeing everybody else. It just, you tend to follow something. That's just human nature. But at the same time, your eye drifts away and back, away and back. So whether you're looking at the whole band or whether you're looking at an individual person, you're still catching what's going on around. And I like the fact that they make those spaces available.
Who's hanging out? One way or another, I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna meet you. I'm gonna.
I want to talk about the instrument sound a minute because we've got it. I really, really like the balance that we've got here of the guitar and the bass. The bass is coming through clearly, which is not always the case. Especially when it's in its lower register, sometimes it kind of gets a little fuzzy and disappears into the mix. It's been mixed really, really well here. Everything has been. But that I particularly wanted to comment on. I really like the sounds that have been picked too. It sounds really heavy, instrumentally speaking, without feeling too heavy, if that makes any sense. There's a real kind of boom feel to the bass guitar. We've got these very, there's a lot of power coming from the guitar itself. Drums are being smacked to high heaven, but it blends nicely with the vocals in front of it. And that, I think, is a very key balance to strike with a cover like this. Everything has to fold in together, and they've achieved that really, really well with this one.
I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna meet you. I'm gonna get you. It's gonna be daylight. I'm gonna get you till the sunrise.
This pose just caught my eye, and I really, really like what they've done here because, and to a certain extent, the bassist is breaking this, but he's also not. He is doing it. He's just got his foot in a slightly different place. Everybody is right foot forward, left foot slightly back. So everybody's body is at a not dissimilar angle, except we have the symmetry across the screen of which finger is being pointed. And so you've kind of got this, again, it's this weird thing of cohesion versus not cohesion. It's all cohesive. That's like, I guess symmetry versus not symmetry. I really, really like that, and I can't even describe particularly why. It's just an aesthetic that caught my eye, and I thought, that's cool. I like what they've done there. And that's about all the logic I have for it, if I'm honest. But it struck me, and I think it's awesome. Really, really like what they've done here. The vocals are so clear throughout this, and I really, really like that you never miss a detail in the melody or the harmony that's going on here. And as we go with this kind of more intricate line compared to previous iterations of this, they're making it come through so well. And even the builds, I trick ya, as it moves up in pitch, the cleanliness with which they're doing that is just, it's really solid. Again, nice moment here. There is a purpose for them going off screen and coming back on again, giving us a second in this instrumental break to focus on the band. Very, very simple, but I love that rather than having the pom-poms at their feet and we're going to dip down, grab them, and come back up again, no, we're going to clear the shot so that the band can have a moment and then we're going to come back in again. Really like that. Also, I love the touch that you can see the spikes on the ground, although these are much more substantial marks, but the tape that's down on the ground behind the microphone stands telling each of them where their spot is. That's just as a theatre sort of technical professional on my day, I always enjoy seeing stuff like that because, there are days where I go out, you're getting a show into a theatre and it's like, okay, well, the sofa's got to go at this point, but it's going to get moved at some point during the show, so you go on there with your coloured tape and you mark it out. And if you've ever seen a stage and you see little bits of coloured tape all over it, that's what they're there for, if you didn't know that. They're there so that when a stagehand comes out in the middle of the, blackout, something like that, and they need to move that sofa from here to here, they can see exactly where it's supposed to go. Same if an actor needs to move something in the middle, or if they need to walk on and there's going to be a spotlight the size of their head that comes on and they need to know exactly where to be so that it's going to hit them precisely. There'll be a spike on the floor so that they stand on that point. Things like that. And I just enjoy seeing that sort of stuff in videos because it's like, I like the fact that we're seeing the technical side of things a little bit as well. This is so great. I love that it's just like, yeah, we're just going to cheer for Broken Peach. Why not? It's great. And this is what I mean. Like, this is completely believable because we've been watching them for the last 2.5 minutes or so in cheerleader outfits. So, of course, they go and get pom-poms, come back on again, and cheer. There's nothing out of the ordinary about that at all. It's fantastic. It's all set up by the work that they did simply with their costuming. And I am totally here for it. I love the tone Erica puts into her voice here. I'm gonna meet ya! It's very kind of like, it's not, I'm gonna meet ya! There's kind of an aggressive sound to it. It's very punchy, which kind of matches, like, I always felt like the original vocals for this had a kind of, they have a hit to them, just in a specific sound that is used there, and I really, really like we're getting a specific sound at this point. This is kind of almost caricature, but in a really fun way. And there again, this kind of, it gets more and more hyper as we go through it. And it's infectiously funny and enjoyable. And there's something, even though it's kind of chaotic, there's something about it that's just uplifting. And I really, really like what she's doing here. You can't help but smile watching this. Even there, I'm gonna meet ya! Like the punch up onto meat there is really heavy. I love this so much. We go into this slightly more syncopated cheer, which is really, really cool. Going back on that. Even that just that little delay, BROKEN. It's rather than BROKEN. Like it would be dull to just do it straight like that, so they give it rhythm. And then again in the peach, P-E-A. The A is a little bit pushed. It's a small thing, but what a difference it makes to the rhythmic interest in the song. And then I love that we just have this side to side that everybody is now doing. And now you hit these moments of unison, and it's such a great payoff for the chaos that happens throughout the song. I love it. I love that dropout so much, because it could just as easily be listen to this for a second. That could be the end of the song. That could be a perfectly functional end of the song. You could even have BROKENPEACH with no more instrumentation and make that the end of a song, but instead... Oh, I also love the pull-off on it. Dang! Off on the second beat. Really, really satisfying having that there. I love that we get these two extreme kind of poses from the guitarist and the bassist, sort of just absolutely holding for that second while they've got this. That's so fun. And then the final pose to strike us out. That's so good! And I love that we have this, again, it's this logic of everybody hits a pose, we're just going to freeze frame and let the camera black out on this. It's very, very dynamic, which is what it's the word I've been using the whole way through this. And I love that we've cleared space for everybody. It would be very easy to go for symmetry here and have the two on either end have their arms down and the two in the middle have their arms up and go one A, B, B, A, rather than what we have here, which is an A, B, A, B. But if we did that, then both the bassist and the guitarist's poses would be blocked by an arm. And it's a small thing, but I love the fact that space is there. We have clarity for every member of the band to have room for what they're doing right now. It's such a small thing, but it strikes me as being I love the fact that that's happened. This is great. This is absolutely great. I always expect fun from Broken Peach, and I've got nothing but in this. It's so light-hearted, so energetic, really punchy. They've done a great job. I love it. There's just something that's so uplifting about their work, and I'm glad I picked this. This was a lot of fun. Yeah. So there we go. That's it for this week. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed that. I hope you got something out of it, be it one way or another. If you'd never heard of it, check it out, but also check out the original. Down in the description below, you will find a link to Broken Peach's original for this. If I've just brought you Broken Peach, go and check them out. They are so much fun. I need to do them not just at Halloween. And I will get to that at some point in time. I genuinely didn't realize it had been that long until I thought, oh, Broken Peach, I haven't looked at them since last Halloween. Hopefully I will get to them in a much sooner rate than I did this time around. Or maybe you know this back to front and I've shown you some small detail where you're like, oh, that's really cool. I didn't think about that. Or something like that. If I've done any of those things, I am a very happy man. That's what I'm here for. Thank you for joining me, especially if you're still here at the end of this video. Please do like it, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. And if you would care to leave a donation, you can leave a donation, a single donation of any amount at buymeacoffee.com/DavidKReacts. You can also join my Patreon for either $2 or $4 Canadian, whatever that translates to in your currency. At the moment, it's just access to my Discord and your name at the end of the video. So that'll be popping up in just a second if it hasn't already. I'm still continuously hoping. I'd hope to do something more with that by the end of this year, but it's not going to happen. So maybe next year I'll be able to flesh out what I offer there a little bit more, with a bit more time, hopefully. Or you could leave a super thanks here on YouTube. Any of those are very gratefully received if you would care to do them. And that's it. That'll be it for this video. Thank you so much for joining me. I really hope that you have an absolute wonderful rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it happens to be for you. 12:01 p.m. See if I get anyone then. Thank you so much. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.